All right, welcome to lesson 14. Lesson 14, again, I want to talk about something very briefly. Um, there's two ways of playing Scrug style or learning the banjo. One is just, looking at the banjo like Lego, like building blocks, that you learn. So you learn a lot of licks that you can recognize again and again by other people when they play them. And it's like a language. You have to just learn the vocabulary. And the vocabulary is these 8-note phrases, or sometimes they're 16-note phrases, or even, longer than that. But in general, they're like these, one bar, 8-note phrases that sort of make a little word. And then you can combine these words and making whole sentences. Um, and so that's one way of learning banjo. I sometimes say if you learned, let's say, 50 licks, like you would 50 different kind of licks, you can already play pretty good banjo because that's a lot of licks. That's a lot of things. So if you would learn a lick a week, you would have 2 weeks off for a year, and then after a year, you could play banjo, theoretically. You still would have to know how to combine them a little bit, but that comes with practice. The most important thing about banjo is to recognize that it's not, in bluegrass or traditional music, it's not just a continuous stream of music. It's actually little sections, little riffs, little things that we learn. For instance, let's say I have a forward backward roll that goes the one we learned. Now I can play that maybe different, or I can play a different lick. Yeah. Anything's possible here, but it's the same. It says a similar thing. Um, so a lick stands actually for a musical journey. Sometimes it just stays put. It doesn't go anywhere. So if I have, let's say, or they just sort of stay. They don't go anywhere. They just sort of do a thing. Dum, 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 dum. But then there are the ones that are really going somewhere. Yeah, right? That could be used to go somewhere. They don't necessarily have to go anywhere. But music is a journey. Every sort of sentence goes from one place to another or into itself again. But a musical sequence is always like a journey. You can look at it as a step. You can have like a step forward, step back, or step somewhere, and then go even further with that. And that's how these building blocks, create the style. Now you have a lot of licks that work on C, a lot of licks that work on D, on G, on any kind of chord, So let's, for instance, a typical C lick, or it's 2 bars, or or I don't want you to learn these right now. It's just I just want to get you the concept that these are just licks that are combined in a very, a lot of times very, very smart and witty way. And then you have little melodic passages that sometimes just combine these. But we all banjo players, it doesn't matter who you really listen to. We all have our signature sort of licks and things that we like, or just you happen to be playing for a long time, just sort of got accustomed to, and so. But you have to. It is very important that you recognize them as licks, not just as a flow of just music. That really just sort of flows in a long sequence. The other thing is you have melodies that you just sort of learn on the banjo. Like for instance, you have this is very, very important that you learn the licks in order to learn a tradition, but then it's really important just to learn how to play melody on these. Best thing is you strum, and then you just sing a melody that you know. That could be anything. Something like that, whatever it is. And I always say it's important. Take a little book and just write in all the melodies you think you know, like Christmas carols, Happy Birthday, everything that you can think of, and then just sort of strum over the banjo in a G, and then try to find it there. And it's good to sing it and then find it. That teaches you over time to remember where the melodies are. You remember when you were a kid and you got access to a piano, and then you sort of try to, figure things out that you know. And then you start to remember where these notes are. You start to remember, oh, when I'm here and I hear that is about this far away. It's not right. It's not way over here. It's not right there. It's sort of in the neighborhood. And that's the same with music. Music is it has a lot to do with, interactions. One is scale movements, and the other one is arpeggios. I'll talk about them the next video, actually. And but to figure out melodies without knowing the notes, just sort of humming the melody, just trying to find the note and then remember where I was. Now that's really essential to sing along and then be able to do that. If you do that, I promise you, if you really do that and then learn the licks, your success will be enormous in music. Because I see a lot of people who only do that, they just play melodies that they know, but they cannot really join a jam session because they just don't know the vocabulary of how to play licks and how to play these roles and put it all into action. And then I see a lot of people who learn licks and they learn their tablatures, but they're not able to understand the music they play. And the musical understanding comes always through the melody mind. Once you understand melody, when you play melody, just a simple song, you will also understand the melody content of a lick much better. So anyway, these go hand in hand, and we have to concentrate on both of them. And there's different techniques of how to achieve both of these ways so they really come together. All right, I hope that was enough explanation. In the next video, I will talk about the basic scale and the basic arpeggios. All right, good luck. Bye-bye.